Hello there. So my name is Erin Grace and I'm here to answer a few questions. And today I want to talk about Christ consciousness. And what is Christ consciousness exactly? Why do we want to anchor it here? So thank you so much for tuning in. So Christ consciousness is actually the 12th dimensional frequency of Christ. It connects to Lyra, a star system in our galaxy in this time matrix. Lyra is the 12th stargate point, which originally held the Christed consciousness. So when we talk about Christ coming in 12 strands of DNA and reaching Christed consciousness, we're talking about reaching that 12th dimensional level of consciousness. Now, why is that important? Well, because from the 12th dimension upwards is where unity consciousness starts. And everything below the 12th dimension is kind of in duality, more or less. There are slight distortions as we go down through the field. And then here we are in planet Earth in the 3rd dimension. And we have a lot of distortions, right? Down here, it's very dense, right? It gets denser and denser and denser. Or you could say that it gets less dense and less dense and less dense as we climb up the ladder or the stairway to heaven or the tree of life, okay? And so what is Christ consciousness? Why is it important? Why is unity consciousness important? So unity consciousness is the reverence for life, a deep respect for all living things. Why is this important? Because this is the medicine for this earth. We don't respect all living things on this earth. This is why we have war. This is why people hurt and kill each other. This is why animals are being killed. This is why we pollute our oceans. This is why we cut down our rainforests and cut down our trees. We are lacking the reverence for life. We are lacking unity consciousness. We are lacking the Christed energy from this planet. And so many of us are here to anchor this in to this earth, to live by example, which is, again, I know the Christian Catholic Bible and, so many people have mixed feelings about it, but there is truth buried in there. And there was a lot of, I don't even want to get into the Council of Nicaea, but there was a lot of edits and manipulations done to that Bible in order to allow it to be, instead of a book of liberation, it was a book of controlling, right? It was a book of entrapment rather than liberation, but it didn't always start that way, okay? So this is why so many of us do resonate with some things that we find in the Bible, and there's other holy texts that are all over this planet. There's 12 tribes, they each have their medicine, they each have their truths, but so many of these books and texts have been heavily, heavily distorted. And it's our jobs to feel the truth within them and to embody those truths, okay? Those organic, living, breathing truths that is reverence for life, that is here to liberate all living beings, freedom for all, not just for some. So why is Christ consciousness so important? Well, it's the medicine for this earth. And another way to say Christ is to say life. Christ came to save. Christ came to bring life. We're all here to respect all living things, to respect our bodies, and to become bringers of this reverence of life to this earth. Because this is the medicine that the collective needs. And when we all wake up and really come into that Christed level of consciousness, that unity consciousness, we won't hurt each other anymore. We won't go to war. So many of us see that there is severe duality. And there is no justification for death or taking lives of anybody, okay? Life is sacred, no matter what. And then people will get into it, well, how do you defend yourself and this and that? And that's a whole other story. And that's about what's going on within here. Because when you walk in Christed light, you are protected. It doesn't matter who's coming knocking at your door. In fact, when you walk in Christed light, it's very likely that nobody's going to come knocking at your door. But if they do, it's a reflection of you, and you change the internal in order to change the external. When you walk in Christed light, you know that everything is a reflection of you, and you take full responsibility. You know, it's not your fault what's going on out there in the world, but you do see it as a reflection of you, and you can take responsibility to shift the internal environment in order to have that ripple out and touch and affect the external world. And if we all did this, we would live in a different world. We would live on a healed planet. We would have created, in fact, this is how we create heaven on earth. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the Antichrist. So the Antichrist itself is written in the Bible, and that's a man-made prophecy that a man-made group or a man-made, what do you call it, secret society is going to play out and act out on the world stage. But that's not the Antichrist that I'm talking about, okay? The Antichrist that I'm talking about is actually, if Christ is life, the Antichrist is anti-life. Anything that goes against life, cutting down trees, polluting the ocean, creating war, killing people, you know, judgment in a way where the punishment is death, that's anti-life. Okay, hurting yourself, transhumanism, self-mutilation, all of these things are anti-life. Eating animals is anti-life. I'm not saying that eating animals is wrong or bad in any way, because we're at a point right now where we can't just switch off of that. You're not going to train the Inuit up in the Arctic to grow vegetables and become vegetarians or vegans. That's not going to happen, okay, guys? Mother Earth provides everything for us to flourish. And at this point, she is allowing us to have great care and respect for the animals, but also to allow the animals to care and respect us as well and give us nutrients for our bodies. However, what's not okay is mass farming, mistreatment, trauma, abuse that goes on in this mass production culture that we live in. Do you see the anti-life properties versus animals living free in the wild, and we're able to be guardians and we help them grow and we promote their growth, but then we only take a little, and we're not really hurting the whole species, and we do so humanely? Do you see the difference of the reverence for life and how we can actually step into reverence for life right now, given our circumstances, right? And so Antichrist is the anti-life, and it's everywhere. It's everywhere in our cultures. Our kids and our children are being taught anti-life practices in school. You know, we just accept it as normal, and a lot of us shrug our arms and we say, well, what can we do about it, you know? And the first thing you can do about it is to become aware of it and bring it up to a conscious level of what is the end goal here. What are we trying to embody? We're trying to embody sacred life practices, reverence for life, to be embodied here within our physicality, within our conscious, not like in our soul or in our higher self, but we actually want to be living, breathing embodiments of Christ, living, breathing embodiments of life, sacred life. This universe was coded to have reverence for life. It was. And we're here to bring that back. And another thing that I like to say is that we're down here on the 3D level so that we can make the changes in the densest areas of this universe. And if we can really pull this off here, it will ripple out. Have you ever wondered why every single being is watching Earth right now? Why is Earth the center stage? Well, Earth is actually the center of the universe. Not when you look at like the geocentric model of the solar system and yada yada. Yes, the Earth goes around the sun. We know that. I'm not trying to say otherwise. I'm not a flat earther. But holographically speaking, and when you look at the dimensions, okay, in this divine matrix, it absolutely is a center of the universe. In fact, I've got so much to share with you. I just don't know if I can fully like bring it all in right now, because a lot of this is high level knowledge, but we are in the core of not just the universe, but we're in the core of Lyra. We're in the core of Andromeda. We're in the core of Gaia. We're in the core of Tara, the Pleiadian version of Earth. There are, just like you are multidimensional, this Earth is multidimensional. And right now we're at the center core piece. And you know how like you've heard of like inner Earth, right? Like in that inner Earth resides in like the second or first dimension, right? And we're in the third dimension. There are layers to this planet. And Lyra is one of the fourth layers, okay? Gaia is the third layer. Tara is the second layer. And Earth is where we're at right now. And you could keep going if you want, but we don't have to. Okay, and then Andromeda is actually the fifth layer. And this goes up, like I have a whole method of teaching dimensions and universal anatomy, as well as your cellular anatomy and where we plug in. And it's part of an advanced healing modality that I am producing at this time. It's a huge body of work. And, you know, a lot of my group members, they've been following me for a little while and they've been waiting very patiently for this information to come out. But it's just so, I'm still trying to take large, vast amounts of information and to be able to simplify it in a way that you can actually physically understand it and understand it in a very tangible way. So I don't want to go off on a huge tangent today about universal bips and blops and everything, but I just want you to know that if we can make the change on this level, it ripples up through all of the higher dimensional versions of this planet, of the higher multidimensional pieces of this planet. And the same thing goes for our multidimensionality. Yes, they're helping us. Our higher pieces are definitely here to help. But when we make these changes here, we're changing the core. This physical body is like a crystal core of our multidimensionality, of our light body. It's super fun to talk about it in this holographic way. And obviously I'm not here sharing notes or reading off a paper. I'm really just letting this stream out of me. So, you know, I'm going to try to keep it somewhat condensed and I'm going to just kind of stop here. But I just want to let you know that there's so much more information that just wants to bubble up and pour out of me. And those of you who can pick it up, congratulations. If you can pick up what I'm putting down, high five. All right. And if you're ready for this, you know, and if you're not ready for this, that's okay too. Take it with a grain of salt. Only believe whatever you're resonating with at this time. Okay. All right. Sending lots of love, big love, soul family. I love you so much. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I'll be back with more exciting information as I continue. Okay. Bye.